Jadi hari ini kita sama-sama belajar dari Dr. Hayri Deniz yang akan memaparkan kurang lebih 90 menit presentasi, bentuknya video kita akan putar. Jadi buat teman-teman yang hadir, silahkan persiapkan kopi, snack, dan sebagainya. Karena ini presentasi, bentuknya video kita akan putar. Jadi, tuh, kok ada feedback ya? Jadi teman-teman silakan persiapkan kopi, snack, karena kita akan sama-sama memperhatikan selama 90 menit belajar dari Turki. Jadi nanti akan banyak sekali informasi yang akan disampaikan karena ini ibaratnya komprehensif ya, mulai dari sisi regulasi, subsidi, bantuan pemerintah, teknis, sertifikasi dan sebagainya yang akan dipaparkan oleh Dr. Hayri Deniz. Nanti presentasinya akan dalam bahasa Inggris, tapi sebagian besar presentasinya itu dalam bentuk tulisan, nanti biar teman-teman walaupun misalnya kurang bisa menangkap dengan jelas, tapi bisa membaca dengan baik. Mudah-mudahan bisa menangkap isinya dan bisa bertanya secara tepat. Jadi silakan saja kalau seandainya nanti ada pertanyaan dalam bahasa Indonesia atau bahasa Inggris silahkan. Kalau misalnya mau chat di dalam chat box silahkan. Kita akan sama-sama fasilitasi, mudah-mudahan ini bisa bermanfaat buat teman-teman semua. Sebagaimana kita tahu bahwa kita selalu bicara potensi-potensi budidaya laut, tapi tidak ada yang banyak berubah dalam beberapa tahun terakhir. Sehingga kita akan coba belajar dari Turki, mudah-mudahan kita bisa mengambil manfaat dari workshop ini. Jadi kita banyak diskusi saja, silahkan nanti kita diskusikan sama-sama. Sebelum presentasi Dr. Hayri Deniz, ada sedikit presentasi dari Xiang Pinlan. Xiang Pinlan, are you ready to give your short presentations?
Yes, it's ready.
Ya, nanti kita sama-sama saksikan sebentar ya presentasi sedikit dari Xiang Pinlan sebagai pengantar. Please go ahead, Xiang.
All right, so I will go ahead to share my screen, and this gonna be the signal all the way from Taiwan. Let's try it. Thank you. Hi. So good afternoon, everybody. Pamudi, let me know that if you can hear me correctly.
Yeah, we can hear you well.
All right, thank you very much. So this time that we have a chance to invite Dr. Deniz all the way from Turkey, be able to share the Turkish offshore cage aquaculture, the success story. But here that I will give a little bit background introduction and also the status of the offshore aquaculture in Asia, and lead to the topic to the Dr. Deniz regard to the Turkey. So let's look at our situation in Asia first. This is the World Aquaculture Marine Culture Map from FAO on 2015. And you can look at this area. Actually, we are at the center of the aquaculture. Look at the color is very red, and also the brown color in that area is all the very high density of the marine cultures place. In the Europe, you may see some other place like the other, like this is Norway, and the main industry is salmon, same as Chile here. But again, that if you look at that, the other map is the FAO have the statistics summarized that the fish consumption, the seafood consumption, we are also located at a very, very high consumption area. In this area, in general, will be up to 30 kilograms per year per capita in this area compared to the other region. So we are at the production center, but we also at the consuming center. And how they gonna shape the industry in Asia? I actually summarized that with a few statements that the feature of our marine culture in Asia, we locate at the consumption center. We are also in the production center. And we are at the intensive culture. It's always not enough space. It's probably not a big issue to Indonesia at this moment. But the rest of the country, I travel, actually, I see that's not enough space in most of the country. The climate range actually in Asia, you can have that the cold temperate area from Japan, Korea, China, and all the way to Indonesia, where that you have fairly high temperature all year around. So that making our diversity, and our diversity, the first one will be the fish species. I'm always joking around that how many species we have. My answer is always x plus one and ing increasing, because we frequently see that it's getting some species popular for a few years, and after that it may disappear, or just some species can continue stay on the fish market, but usually that comes out like a cycle. The other thing is the operation scale. We have the fish farmer is by the individual family run business, and then to the wholly integrated from the hatchery to the even to the shipping of the company for retail chain. All that integrate into one company. The market style is fish to the frozen product. And that actually is a very critical, important point that at this moment, I will mention a little bit to the COVID-19 impact. So this is a lot of the species actually we culture in Asia, and this is just part of that. I have not have enough space to put all the species picture on this PowerPoint. But in general, in China, 2018 to 19 is produced about 2 million metric tons of the fin fish. And the Southeast Asia together in general is about 1.2 million metric tons. I know in Indonesia, a lot of grouper, you have a lot of the sea bass, pompano, and also the milkfish. Maybe in the future, this threadfin can be the new species, provide the nutrition to also be able nutrition to the people locally, and also it's gonna be a good species for export to China. And the look at the fish market. The picture on the right is the fish market in Philippines inside the department store that you can see it's a fresh on ice. In China, the traditional fish market in Guangzhou, that's actually trying to sell everything in live. And that actually is already have some from the live fish to the chill on ice. However, China does have the upgrade version. For example, the picture here is the Hema Fresh. It's actually from Alibaba. They actually build their own seafood retail chain and then try to open a window directly to the consumer. Look at the picture. All the fish is still sold in live. Another one, Seven Fresh. This is from probably number one or number two online internet retail, Jingdong.com. Their B2C online retail seafood market. It's called Seven Fresh. You look at all that, it's almost still a lot of things is live fish. And that actually gonna have the difference from what we usually see in the supermarket, where you can see the frozen fillet packet in the freezer in the supermarket. This is the sea bass. Middle here, this is one is the grouper fillet. Usually is for the steamboat, the hot pot. Threadfin China right now have a huge demand and also have been create a vacuum pack. Snapper in South Asia a lot, pompano a lot in Indonesia too. This is the cobia from Panama, all right? So all of this that if you look at that, it maybe is one of the product choice, but it wasn't be the main product supply to the daily consumption to the people at the dining table at home. However, it does change now. It increased by COVID-19 a lot. At least in China, we realize that right now, all those packet, frozen, processed, packet, frozen seafood right now is getting much, much popular than the past. And why this is important to the offshore cage culture? Offshore cage culture gonna produce the fish in large scale. We can sell all the fish live in a moment with that huge scale. So from the fish harvest, process, frozen to the product, be able to deliver, be able to store and deliver to the consumer for the time. This is the key. And I hope that by this increase, that in the future, the consumer behavior will change and stay in that the demand for the frozen seafood product. The rest of that, I will just review that quickly to show you that I believe all of you have been seeing those, the different style of the cage, the traditional cage wrapped on your left, and then the polar circle cage on your right. Traditional cage definitely have his own flexibility. It probably very good at to be a hub for the fish harvest and then before they go to the restaurant. But it does have the limitation to be able to expand to the larger scale in terms of the fish production and weight. And picture here is the traditional cage that occupied the tourist area in Vietnam, in the northern Vietnam near the Ha Long Bay. The open ocean cage farm, the polar circle cage in Asia by far, it still is the immature young, and we are still in the learning stage. The local investment and the foreign investment so far right now is that have several kinds of spotlight in different countries, but a lot of those actually is not right in terms of the technology. The mooring system, netting, anchoring, and also we don't have enough the supportive industry at this moment. We could say that at this moment we have the offshore cage game, but we still have the traditional cage operation mindset because we still miss a lot of the components still missing in this part of the world. And environment is also the big issue. I believe that many of the audience maybe attend my seminar before, that this is the satellite image I took from the Google Earth at 2008 in the North Fujian province in China. There's a place where cultured the yellow croaker back to 2000, about year 2000 to 2008 at the time that this is cage density. You can cross the island, just walk through the cages at the time. So look at this picture and then bring that in your brain. Next picture will show you that actually we brought it up to the China government in 2008. Actually, things gradually change. This is 2020. So 12 years after, finally, the government take a step into it. It reduced the cage, you can see from the arrow here, reduce the cages and also put a lot of the seaweed raft here and try to improve. It's not perfect yet, but at least that you can take a first step into it so that when changing the industry and toward to the better environment. This is the case in Indonesia, Lampung, I think. I think this is in Lampung. Just mark on this area and you can see there's still a lot of the cage. Is that too close? Well, it probably can comes out a better layout in the area and for the plant instead of cluster, kind of the cluster formation in near to each other. And this is the case in Philippines, where you can see a lot of the white dot on the sea. And then I just mark on the center area. We zoom in, realize that it's all the polar circle cage with a very, very high density in this area. And this is just another, it's the polar circle cage, but didn't using the offshore cage concept. however, still stay in the traditional cage mindset. The environment is an issue that we also need to have the pay attention to the zoning, because it's probably not that much in Indonesia, but overloaded cage aquaculture, it happens in many countries already. Hatchery is also one thing that try to produce more than 20 million fingerlings per year and then be able to supply one or two the offshore cage operation. That big quantity with quality hatchery technology, we are still missing this part of that. Feed and feeding need require the better equipment, and also the sustainability also need to consider into that. The potential sites for the investigation for the offshore cage aquaculture is also the big issue. Zoning, licensing, carry capacity, and environmental monitoring, all that actually will take count into the offshore cage aquaculture. And this is not only doing by once, but again, that a lot of things will become the frequent practice. So it's very different from the traditional farming, and people or the farmer need to get used to the new style. So for example, the open ocean cage aquaculture consideration need to worry about the like environment, water depths, water current, how high is the wave, operation, the labor, equipment, and so on. Many things need to take account and consider. However, it's always have a joke among the people that, oh, when we have the excellent water, it usually is just too far away from anything. So it probably is pros and cons that you got a good water, but you're gonna be isolated, or you are not that isolated, but however, your water probably is not that good. And all that require the assessment. And this is also our goal for this presentation here. With the government, we have an industry stakeholder, we have an investor, that actually all need to take into account and consider. And Indonesia does have those three sectors, and each of them is actually do a pretty good job. What we can learn from Turkey, this picture actually we took at 2014 when we are in Bodrum, Turkey with Dr. Deniz at a time in the feeding barge, and then be able to take the picture, look at the cage, how big they are behind it, and also how they plan to set up the cage system in the sea. That is all the things we need to learn from. So today's, thank you for your attention to my presentation. However, I will need your attention and enjoy the Turkish offshore cage aquaculture story for the next presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sean.
All right, so I need to stop sharing and then take the authority back to you, right?
Ya, oke teman-teman semua, tadi sama-sama kita saksikan sedikit pengantar dari Sean Finland, bahwa memang Indonesia itu memiliki banyak sekali keunggulan strategis ya dalam pengembangan budidaya laut. Namun banyak sekali juga kendala-kendala yang pasti teman-teman juga sudah tahu, makanya kita akan coba belajar dari Turki bagaimana mereka mengembangkan budidaya lautnya sehingga mereka bisa memproduksi luar biasa besar di Mediterranean, sehingga mereka bisa menguasai pasar di Eropa. Saya akan putarkan videonya. Ini 90 menit, jadi mohon teman-teman silahkan mempersiapkan bahan bakar konsumsi kopi dan sebagainya. Jadi ini panjang memang karena bercerita tentang semua hal tentang budidaya laut di Turki, mulai dari persiapan dan sebagainya. Nanti silakan saja kalau misalnya ada pertanyaan bisa di chat box atau nanti raise hand ya, ajukan pertanyaan, menyalakan mic-nya pakai bahasa Indonesia atau bahasa Inggris silahkan. Jadi kita santai saja, mudah-mudahan teman-teman nggak ngantuk ya habis makan siang ini. Saya akan putar videonya sekarang. Mudah-mudahan jelas suaranya.
I would like to share with you my experience, Turkish aquaculture, I mean, current situation, the success stories and developments today with you. First of all, authorization. We have the Minister of Agriculture and Forestry. He is the main authority for aquaculture activities. Also, ministry has 85 provincial directorates. Also, they are working for fisheries and aquaculture. We have the DG under this ministry, the DG of the fisheries and aquaculture. Under this DG, we have the head of aquaculture department, the responsible for, I mean, all aquaculture activities for management issues. We have also another departments, but not related to aquaculture, fisheries and control department, source management, statistics, and administration issues. Here is the regulations related to aquaculture management, allocation of zones, environmental impact assessment, and monitoring. We have the fisheries law, environmental law, aquaculture regulation, environmental impact assessment regulation, water pollution control regulation, site selection regulation, fish farm monitoring regulation, related, I mean, the aquaculture management. Aquaculture policy and management. According to Article 13 of the Fisheries Law, all the procedures and principles related to aquaculture regulation, which was issued in 2004 and amended 2005, 2007, and 2009. This regulation covers and below following issues: site selection for fish farms, application and evaluation procedures for aquafarming license, approving the projects and issuing the license, improving the production capacity, species and cancellation of the projects, site change and sales, importing broad fish, eggs and fry, compulsory technical staff employment, fish health management, environmental impact and protection, monitoring and control of the fish farm activities, also fish welfare. Here is the licensing procedures for aquaculture investment. First of all, investor deciding which species they want to produce and where. And then they are going the province of the Minister of Agriculture with their public health reports and water analysis reports. And then they are going together in the field to observe the area, if this area is suitable or not, this fish culture. And then if their reports and is positive, if they believe that this area is suitable for the species, they are giving the preliminary licensing. And then they are giving sometimes to prepare, the project proposals. They are preparing project proposals, and at the same time, they are preparing environmental impact assessment reports. They are asking for possible environmental impacts. Without environmental impact assessment reports, the positive reports, they cannot go further. They cannot establish. After the finishing the feasibility reports, they are approving the Minister of the Agriculture and Forestry, and then is everything is okay, they are approving these projects and giving the license, and then they are establishing fish farms, and finally they are renting from the government this land or sea surface for 15 years, and then they are starting their production. We have also site selection communique. according to these regulations, minimum deep should be 30 meters for cage culture. This area should be far away from the coastline, 0.6 miles. Minimum current range also 0.1 meter per second. This is the Communique of Marine Fish Farm Monitoring. Also, monitoring fish farm regulation. After the establishing fish farm, and the ministerial institutions are checking and controlling. These communities covers and setups following issues: principles and sampling, keeping sample procedures, monitoring, measurement of analysis, monitoring periods and reporting exceptional issues and inspections. Here is the criteria for allocation of marine aquaculture zones. This is, zone level criteria. This studies carrying by governments, not, the private sectors. This is responsibility for government, because not easy this kind of study. Governmental bodies are carrying this study. First of all, we are checking, the suitability and possibility of mariculture. This water quality is enough, good or not for species, and physical and chemical conditions we are checking also. Also, site selection criteria. Already we have the minimum deep distance from the coastline and current speed. And protection status also very important. It is not possible to, establish any protected area for fish farming. Other issues also, tourism, urbanization, and marine transportation, fishing and recreation. We are also taking care of these issues, just to determining and allocating for marine aquaculture zones for cage aquaculture. We are under this context, as a Turkish government, we have determined suitable zones for marine aquaculture 2008.
Sebentar ya, kok ada coret-coret itu dari mana ya, makanya saya stop dulu. Saya coba share lagi.
With consensus all other stakeholders. This site selection criteria for sea farming. This is the farm level. Investors and farmers can do this study. There are many issues. First one is conflicting use of the area, deep profile, exports of wind, fetch, current, maximum and side effect wave height, water temperature, salinity, dissolved oxygen, concentration, pollution, phytoplankton and zooplankton distribution and occurrence, potential danger of red tides, phytoplankton and biofouling, predators, distance from the sensitive flora and fauna, distance from the other fish farms. This is also very important. Interaction with protected species, accessibility to the site and the routes and transportation, infrastructure facility, security and communication, electricity, fresh water possibility also important, potential for expansion. This is the farm level site selection criteria. As a Turkey, we have the financial support mechanism. First of one, we have the agricultural bank. They are subsidizing the fish farmers for operative or investment period. They are subsidized subsidizing the fish farmers interest rate 50% less than official rate. This is quite important. Almost half of their cost is coming from the government. This is a funding system, funding support system, as the direct funding and indirect funding, financial support, and loans. We are supporting infrastructure, improving the fish farm infrastructure in terms of sanitary and hygiene purpose, and for loans, renewing and modernization of the fish farm and facilities. Scope of this support system is for strengthening international competitiveness and food diversification. After starting this financial support, aquaculture production has been increased ordinarily. At the same time, improve the infrastructures for sea-based and land-based facilities in terms of the hygiene purpose, and also new species production is starting and increasing after this support mechanism. This is the very important financial support mechanism for Turkey in Turkey. In subsidize, Turkish government is supporting aquaculture production by providing financial support for production purpose since 2003. Main objective of the scheme are to prevent unrestricted and unlicensed production and the competitive sector in Europe, develop environmental friendly production systems, increasing the production, the quality and domestic consumption, and the support RD activities. Rate of the support for 2019 was for trout 0.75, and sea bass and sea bream 1, and new species is 1.5, RAS system 1.5, Turkish salmon 1.5, carp 0.5, mussels 0.1. Turkish government subsidizing these species. Sometimes facing them the difficulties conflicting with EU countries because they are complaining this or subsidizing the direct subsidizing the aquaculture sector. The government also provides support to encourage producers to joining aquaculture associations. For instance, any producers member of the association can get additional 10% extra subsidy. And the Ministry of also planning to support investment regarding the environmental management systems, monitoring and organic aquaculture in near futures. Technical capacity of personnel and training needs. According to aquaculture regulation, all the fish farm and hatcheries have to employ technical staff, and one of them should be assigned as technical manager. Fish farm and hatchery technical staff requirements. They are the capacities, they are the number of the technical staff should be employed. Today, there are approximately 25,000 persons who were working for aquaculture sector in Turkey. RD activities. Turkey has significant know-how and research activity in the aquaculture related areas. Aquaculture are mainly performed by various fisheries faculty and Ministry of Agriculture research institutions. There are 22 fisheries faculties. Faculties conduct aquaculture studies as the master degree, PhD degree. These theses with finance provide either from the research funds, TÜBİTAK, and the EU Horizon 2020. Current aquaculture research priorities including fisheries genetic resources, conservation management, and welfare, fish breeding, biotechnology, increased species and system aquaculture, and development of environment-friendly aquaculture systems. Ministry of Agriculture has four fisheries institute for their own RD activities. Aquaculture insurance system. We have the agricultural insurance pool. We are calling the TARSIM. These aquaculture products losses due to deaths and material damage arising from below risk are covered. Disease, pollution, and poisoning beyond the control of the fish farmer, storm, wet wind, earthquake, and the flood, and accidents, predators, algal blooms. In order to insurance his or her aquaculture, the farmer shall apply to insurance company or a member of the agricultural insurance pool, TARSIM. In aquaculture insurance, 50% of the premium written in the policy is subsidized by the government. This is also very important because insurance companies don't want to make insurance fish farmers, especially offshore fish farms, because the risk is very high. So they don't want to they make the insurance. In this reason, is the government supporting encouraging the fish farmers to make their farms or activities to be insurance. Certification schemes were so very important. For global trade and exporting, importing issues. So now is the customers are asking, they are varying in the quality. So and as I told you before, we are exporting mainly the fishes and sea bass, sea bream, and trout, and all of the species, culture species. So we have the most of the international certification schemes, such as best aquaculture practices, friend of the sea, quality management systems, environmental management systems, food safety management systems, British Retail Consortium, International Food Standards, Global GAP, and Halal, and ASEC, VRG. There are many we have already. This is the organization, fish farmer organizations, NGOs. We have the one central union for aquaculture producers. There are also 22 local producers unions under these central unions. We have the one fish farmer association, also one seafood promotion committee, and fisheries foundation. Let's talk a little bit conflicts and planning of aquaculture zones. Marine aquaculture was started with sea bream and sea bass in closed bays in using traditional small size wooden cages in 1985. In that time, there is no any planning, there is no any limitation, there is no criteria, there is no tourism, there is no environmental awareness in Turkey. So just go and establish anywhere. Nobody is asking, what are you doing over there? So, and then problems have been mainly occurred between the mariculture and other coastal sectors such as tourism, environmental protection, maritime recreation in Aegean and Mediterranean coast, which are already established most of the sea bass and sea bream now. First marine aquaculture zone were determined in 1988 and were provide of the sea farms in these zones. However, current allocation zone had been started deficient for a new improvement and because of the rapid developments and culture techniques and cage made and feed technology. And then we put it in new rules and new perspectives. Therefore, studies on determination of the aquaculture zones were reviewed several times because of the circumstances of the aquaculture, which were developed alternative. After new environmental law, new aquaculture zones were determined once again with consensus all the related institutions according to the current regulations, provisions, and inshore marine farms were moved to new allocated offshore aquaculture zones. There is a confronted with the same problems by reasons of the graduated conflicts between aquaculture and others and amendments of the regulations without enough consultation and agreements with stakeholders. Thank to God, the Turkish aquaculture sector could success to turn the crisis to advantage in that period. Aquaculture sector faced several serious problems and conflicts within the other sectors using this same as coastlines, which are also suitable at the same time for other coastal sectors by reason of advanced developments such as tourism, recreation, and sailing. So up to now, all progress developments and encountered difficulties in the same time have been turned to advantage and structuring themselves for either public body or private sectors. Recently, Turkish government has developed as a national marine aquaculture development plans just to minimize conflicts and provide stable ground for the future growth of the aquaculture sector. Of course, we should also need new regulations or update existing one. In this case, new regulations is into force and existing ones in the amended, which meet requirement and coherent with EU regulations. Aquaculture legislation was amended and aligned with EU regulations, including the welfare in 2009. In addition, notifications related site selection, monitoring fish farm, and were into effect in 2007 and 2009, respectively. Eventually, all parties realized that a separate planning is not enough for sustainable management of the sector, and they decided to make integrated coastal planning by all stakeholders. Of course, we need to support these actions scientific actions. In this respect, new offshore marine aquaculture zones are determined by especially Minister of Agriculture, Minister of Environment, and all stakeholders, and then all inshore sea farms moved offshore and open sea area. In addition to regulation and planning, national and international projects have been carried out in the scientific way in order to sustainability of the aquaculture sector, such as in FAO projects on developing a roadmap for Turkish marine aquaculture site selection and zoning using an ecosystem approach to management. We also carry out national project on determination of environmental impacts of fish farm to marine ecosystems. In this part, we are trying to explain the current situation of the Turkish aquaculture. As a Turkey, we have the very good potential for aquaculture for both marine and inland. And finally, we have 26 million water surface is available for fish farming. In addition, there are many rivers, dam lakes, man-made lakes, and sea surface. And in addition, also Turkey's longest coastline in Mediterranean after the Spain. Our total fisheries production was 838,000 tons in 2019. Contribution of the aquaculture in Turkish fisheries as a volume, aquaculture has a contribution less than fisheries, 40% aquaculture contribution, but come to value, aquaculture has a 72% contribution in Turkish total production. This aquaculture production by species, or main species, and trout, sea bass, and sea bream. And the biggest portion has a trout. Trout has a totally 34% of production in total production, and sea bass is the second one, is has a 37%. The sea bream, or the third one, is 27%. In addition, I mean, our main species, trout and sea bass and sea bream, we are also producing another species, for instance, some bluefin tuna, meager, sea trout, carp, mussels, stentex, but not so much. As you can see, the marine aquaculture production is bigger than inland production. So we have the 56,000 tons marine aquaculture production in Turkey. Here is the fish farm numbers and capacity. We have 2,286 fish farm in Turkey totally. And the marine fish farms number is 426. Most of the fish farms established in the inland. Most of them are the trout farm. Here is the geographical distribution of the aquaculture in Turkey. In Turkey, as you show the screen, all the cities has a fish farm. Like chicken, we have even some small village has trout farm. This is also very good for the rural developments and local people. They can find the fish easily in any time, everywhere to consume. Also not so expensive, so there are many fish farm, very fresh, very cheap, easy to reach for the customer. Here is the aquaculture growth trend in 2006 to 2019. As you see, the sector is growing very ordinarily. In this case, aquaculture is fastest growing sector in all sector in Turkey for last 5 years. So not on a food sector, all sectors, This is also very important, very well growing sector. Here is the emerging developments on the, of the aquaculture sectors in Turkey, some, the key points. As you can see, screen is the total production between the 2000 to 2019, increasing rate 435. And for instance, in trout production has increased and 2040%. Sea bream increased 573%. Sea bass, an unbelievable one, is increase rate is 753. Number also increased 84%. Capacity also is increased unbelievable. 874% increased or capacity of aquaculture between 2000 to 2019. Here is some data for seafood trade of Turkey in the past decades. Turkey actually is exporting seafood to 84 countries in the world. Is trend of seafood trade of Turkey is as a volume. As you can see, its export and import volume almost same, not so much difference. But look at the value. The export value is very high, increasing very rapidly, and import value is stagnating, not increasing, because of we are selling and exporting high value and the expensive fish. Here is the share of the top 10 exporter countries from Turkish seafood. The main country is Netherlands for Turkish seafood. Netherlands has 26%. Second one is Italy, 18%. Third one is Germany, 14%. And then Japan, 70%. Russian Federation is 70%. The Russian Federation is very important for Turkish sector. Is increasing country for us. For instance, in the past, and the Russian people, they didn't know sea bass and sea bream. Of course, they are not eating. They were not eating the sea bass and sea bream. But now they are eating. They are liking too much and sea bass and sea bream. So it is very important for us. It's unbelievable. Also now is in US also a very important country for us, now increasing also. We are export value to US. For this reason, the college, we are established in the Republic of Dominic just to easy to reach the US market. We are producing in the Turkish sea bass over there. Here is the future aims for 2023 for us. Aquaculture production 600,000 tons. Or export the target also $2 billion US. Now already we reached the $1 million. Now we should increase and double up to 2023. This is some summary for Turkish aquaculture sector. As I told you before, aquaculture sector is fastest growing sector in Turkey. Our main species are trout, sea bass, and sea bream. And secondary species also is bluefin tuna, also very important. Meager, sea trout, common sea bream, detex, tentex. The farms also increasing. And in each category, more than 85% of the production is exported, mainly Europe, Russian Federation, US also as growing market. Turkish seafood is exporting 84 countries in the world up to now. Again, is summarizing the our sector success. Now is Turkey is the largest fish producing country in the Mediterranean basin, and the second largest fish producers in Europe after the Norway. Turkey now has a 30% share of the European sea bass and sea bream market. Turkey has also the number one in Europe for trout aquaculture, also leading the sea bass and sea bream production in the world, and also 25,000 people are working in the sector now. This is the figures regarding Turkey leadership on trout production in Europe. As you can see, Turkey is producing the 46% of the almost half of the European trout production. Turkey is also leading sea bass production in the world. So 42% of the world sea bass production is coming from Turkey. And in the samely, Turkey is sharing 46% of the world sea bream production in 2016. Here is the historical development process of Turkish cage aquaculture. This is also, some milestones, the key points, key steps, how to you can realize, you can understand how to change, how to develop Turkish aquaculture. The starting points in 1985. This is the first marine cage farm in Turkey. These wooden cages and established a sheltered bay in the boardroom. These cages very close to the coast, because in that time there is no any rules, there is no conflicts, there is no awareness. But after then, we are learning some things, and we are realizing the environmental issues, and we are learning how to produce, how to increase our capacity. This is also sea bass and sea bream farm in boardroom. Cage size and capacities is increasing slowly. And so we are starting to use the hexagonal wooden cage in onshore conditions. Is also sea bass and sea bream farm in Izmir city. Farms are started first time high density polyethylene circular cages. Farms are a little bit moved away from the shore. Cage size and capacity again increasing. Cage diameter is the 10 meters at that time. The previous one is 6 meters. 2005 again is capacity and cage size is increasing. Farmers are farther away, moved from the shore, and farmers started to use 20 meters diameter circular cages in offshore. 2005-2010. Now is the cage size is increasing, 30 meters diameters, and we are also first time we are using the bar system in offshore. We are moving offshore and starting to use also bar system at the same time, because without bar system, not easy to feed and manage the offshore fish farms. 2010, 2015. Now we have the new environmental law. We have some measurement. We have the obligatory issues. For the reason, all the inshore cage farms moved to offshore, and in 2009. Now all of them operating in offshore. Cage size and capacity again of increasing. Now cage size is 50 meter diameters. they are using the barge system. This is the last stage. Cage capacity and size is increased, and cage diameter is 50 to 100 meters. And also they are using barge system and the automatic feeding system and management system. In this case, here is the one example for marine fish hatchery in Muğla. This hatchery is belong to the Kılıç Seafood Company. In totally, there are 22 marine hatcheries in Turkey. They are producing the sea bass, sea bream, and other marine species. This vaccination operation is also very important. In the past, we were using the antibiotics and other chemicals, but now there is nobody is using any antibiotics chemicals. Also, they are forbidden. We are just using the vaccination. We are vaccinating the all fish one by one just before putting the pre-growing cages. This is the bluefin tuna farm in Izmir city. Turkey also has 6 bluefin tuna farm in total. Most of them established in Izmir. As you see, is that there is harvested bluefin tuna. They can grow up 400 kilo. This barge system in offshore sea farm, I told you before, is very important for feeding and managing, even for living. There are several storage for fish feed. They are putting the feeds for 1 week, maybe 10 days. If they cannot live over there, or workers, even the bad weather condition, no need to the vessels to bring the feed. They can continue to feeding their fish. This is also an automatic feeding system. All fish farm has already. This is also very good, very effective, and also avoiding the loss the money for extra feeding, because there are the underwater system, monitor system. They are controlling and checking when fish is they don't want to eat the feed, then they stop easily, and then to feeding. Automatic system can stop the feeding, so there is no pollution. Also, it's also very important. We are also using the extruder feed. This is also very good. Not easy to they go down, as fish are consuming all the feed in the cages. This is also management and monitoring of the offshore sea farm. Now is the easy to manage and control on the barge. They can monitor weather conditions. They can check the water quality, also habit of the fish, and they are continuing to eat the feed or not. You can check everything in the automatically in the barge. You can on your computer. This is the harvesting operation in offshore sea farm. Not easy operation. This is a quite hard operation. This is the Turkish sea bream. They are looking very healthy and lively. there are also, I mean, the many processing and packaging facility. They have the very high standards because they have the most of them is have the, I mean, the EU certification. It's very clean, very, I mean, the modernized. This is the CBAS and CBRIM now already. They are packaging and processing. Some big companies, as a college, they have also value-added processing and packaging facilities. This is also, I mean, growing in Turkey because the customer asking, mainly is Mediterranean people as asking the, I mean, this is the for Mediterranean cuisine. I mean, mainly in Italy and other European countries, people asking this kind of added value fish, and we are producing. Here is the investing in any foreign countries, which is the, I mean, this is my experience because I have worked in the cruise seafood company as a foreign investment director. So I will share my experience, which is the criteria for, I mean, foreign countries. First of all, we are looking for political stability for secure investment. Politically, if there is, I mean, the safe and powerful government, it is not easy to go and invest over there. And then lastly, we are checking, I mean, there is a suitable business climate for foreign investment or not. I mean, for instance, in Morocco and Saudi Arabia, many Gulf countries, for instance, has some incentives. For instance, in Saudi Arabia, for 10 years, they are not asking any tax for 10 years, nothing. In, for instance, Morocco also, for 5 years, they are not asking any tax, just asking to, I mean, to provide to local workers. So it is also very important how the, I mean, the possibilities and incentives also is, I mean, the appropriate legal framework and legislation. I mean, if the getting the license and the entering, I mean, the establishing the country is not easy. It is not good for, I mean, the for an investor. So I mean, it's also a kind of barriers to enter and establish the country. For instance, in the Morocco, they have one national development agency. Government give all the, I mean, the rights to this agency. Just we are going and negotiating with them. They are allowing and getting all the license for us. We are not going, I mean, the Minister of Environment, Minister of Finance, Minister of nothing. Just we are negotiating and meeting and discussing these agencies people, and they are getting and having all, I mean, the necessary permissions, and they are really is good to. They are also encouraging, I mean, to invest foreign investment. So this should be kind of the, I mean, this appropriate legal framework and legislation also. Also, I mean, long-term and applicable sectorial strategic plans. If there is, I mean, the long-term and very good planning in the country, it means is open your, I mean, for investment, kind of, I mean, the beneficiary for, I mean, the investment. Also, accessibility and applicability of the internal trade rules. For instance, many countries, even Turkey, we have the tax-free, I mean, the regions. This is also very good for, I mean, the foreign investment. Tax-free zones, they can go and they can establish over there the company. I mean, you can use, I mean, your all US dollar and the euro and this kind of money without changing the, I mean, the local money. It's also important. Do also re-exporting issue also is very important. We are also looking for this kind of checking this kind of issues. Also, unique responsible authority of the simple procedures to get the licensing. Already I told you this is very important. If the long time to taking the licensing procedures a long time, is investor tired and sometimes and cancel them in their, I mean, the investment decisions. So this is also very important. Main difficulties to invest in the foreign countries: unstable political situation, lack of strategic plan is, I mean, opposite the others say, unclear climate for investment, poorly structural institutions, difficulties and having long terms for getting license, lack of the governmental support, insufficient trade regime, insufficient working condition, and social life also is also very important. This is my, I mean, suggestion on aquaculture investment in the your region and Southern and Asian region. I hope it is right. Just this is my personal observation. Your region is have the, I mean, high potential for aquaculture, high biodiversity. There are many species already. You are producing good environment and climate, rapid growing economy, and in the, I mean, the Southern Asia countries, and available and low cost workforce. This is also very important for, I mean, foreign investors. High market demand, available ingredients for feed. I mean, this is also quite important because, for instance, as a college, we are going to any countries. We want to establish, I mean, the vertically, I mean, the fish farm, fish feed factory, hatchery, so marketing department. So if we want to establish the fish feed factory over there, we should look, I mean, the fish feed ingredients. It is very easy to, if available, I mean, the local countries have already enough ingredients for feed. Opportunities of the Southeast Asian aquaculture: increasing market demand, product species opportunities, farmer training and extension, increasing employment and incomes, planning and seeding, improve the product quality, increase the use of the local ingredients in the feeds, use of the new technologies by overseas competitors, improve the outcome from the R&D activities, increase the support for aquaculture product promotions. Suggestions for marine cage aquaculture in the southern regions: putting in force new regulations and revise existing ones according to the needs, improving the institutional capacity for successful and sustainable management, incorporating all related stakeholders to decision-making process, simplifying licensing procedures for aquaculture investment, determining new potential zones for marine cage aquaculture and allocating these zones for aquaculture investments, increasing the farm's scales, capacity for profitability, I think the most of the farms already small scale and the most of them maybe not profitable. So they should increase, I mean, the farm scale for getting more money, earning money. Integrating other coastal sectors for avoiding the conflicts with them. As already I explained, we faced many times, many cases, I mean, we conflict with other coastal sectors. We learned a lot of things, so please don't do same things. So it is possible to, I mean, the integrating other coastal sectors. I mean, getting consensus, getting agreement with them. Providing financial support for offshore cage aquaculture, and this is the governmental issue. The government should be support, I mean, the cage aquaculture. Without, for instance, without, I mean, the governmental support, I mean, the technical support, financial support, even the social support, I mean, without our sector cannot grow this kind of, they cannot reach, I mean, they cannot success this achievement. So every time is investors want to, I mean, their governmental support just behind to them. Additional supporting for added value seafood production. This is not easy, not cheap, I mean, investment. So this is the quite expensive investment to, I mean, establish added value processing and packaging facility. So government should give them additional support for this kind of investment. Supporting promotional activities for national and international markets. This is also very important to, I mean, promote, to introduce their products. Also, sometimes aquaculture products has, I mean, a negative image. For instance, in Turkey, sometimes some people are believing the cultured fish is not tasty, not healthy. So maybe we should support this kind of, I mean, promotional introductive activities as a government, as a, I mean, maybe sectors, to change this, I mean, the negative image to convert the positive way. Providing financial support and incentives for foreign investors. As I give you the, I mean, the example in Morocco and Saudi Arabia and many Gulf countries, just they are trying to, I mean, they have the foreign investment in their countries. They are giving them many incentives and they are giving many supports. This is also very important. Encouraging to establish fully integrated business model for aquaculture. This is also very good, very profitable. End of the day, IT sectors is going this direction. If you have the, I mean, their own hatchery, you are producing their, I mean, the fingerlings cheaper than other companies. If you have the your own fish feed factory, you are producing is good quality and cheap feed than others. So, for instance, in a good example for Kılıç, Kılıç has all, I mean, the facilities, even from hatchery, production facility, packaging, processing, and marketing, even the fish feed and fish oil factory. So they have everything. They are producing cheaper, and so they are producing good quality. It means nobody can compete with him, this company. So really, it is very, very profitable. Integration is very important for, I mean, the future of the aquaculture sectors. In the region, maybe also I think they should this kind of business models. This is my answers. Your questions. Your questions. Lost job opportunity issues during the transmission small farm to integrated enterprise, sale, operation, how to Turkey deal with success issues. So this is my answers. First issue is the potential. You should have the potential for, I mean, your sectors. Luckily, as a Turkey, we have the huge potential for aquaculture, both marine and inland. 26 million hectare sea surface we have already. It is quite huge. For the reason there are many fish farms and in Turkey, and we are growing every year. Another one is allocated zone for aquaculture. We are calling the AZA. AZA is number one factor for fish farming investment as a kind of guarantee for future of the cage aquaculture. Because if there is, I mean, allocated zone for aquaculture, everybody knows this zone is for aquaculture investors. Nobody can enter, nobody invest over there. So they know and they believe they open their front. So easy to decide and to go there and establish their fish farm. For instance, as a Turkey, we determined and allocated our own AZA for fish farmers. This is also one of the factors for our success. Right site selection, this is important for, I mean, farm level. I mean, the site selection also has a critical importance for successful farm establishment. If you are selecting rightly your place, you are lucky to go further and to increase your capacity. But if you are wrong, this headache for you. For the reason is you should take care, I mean, the selection criteria for avoiding with other coastal sectors. Including all stakeholders to decision-making process. In the past, actually, nobody was taking care of this kind of issues, but nowadays, everybody understand, everybody know, without including the stakeholders to decision-making process, we are preparing the insufficient regulations, we are applying measurement, maybe wrongly. So it is very important, also very useful. End of the day, nobody, they lost. Everybody is win because government decide rights and they are managing the sectors with stakeholders. So easy to check, easy time in the auto control system, a kind of easy to turn, easy to change the wrong decisions. So as a Turkey, luckily is a ministry and sector and come together and frequently and easily we can discuss everything. They are supporting every time to us. So good governance, also management system is the presidential government in Turkey, as you know, and they changed lastly. It is also good because a central administration system, there is no many institutions to involve the aquaculture. We are going the Minister of Agriculture and DG for Fisheries and Aquaculture. We are discussing, we are speaking, and we are solving all problems, and we are going easily to progress. Okay. Putting in force the necessary regulations or on updating existing ones is also quite important because the regulations should be change and update ordinarily. Already, the Turkey we made it is we put it we have the the specific aquaculture regulation We have the site selection regulation, moratorium regulation. So we are easily putting in force on revising the or regulations. Effective and continuous support policy is government is providing a technical and financial and social support for developing of aquaculture, same as other sectors. Even the foreign investors have same rights in Turkey. Also, Turkish government also encouraging to invite to foreign investors to come and invest in Turkey, because even the subsidies, they are also getting and having the subsidies, same as the Turkish citizens. Successful planning. Planning also very important. Without plan, we cannot go further. As a Turkey, we have the National Marine Aquaculture Development Plans. It plans also help to minimizing the conflicts and provide stable ground for the future of the aquaculture sector and prevent impacts of the fish farms. Some measures were introduced with other stakeholders. For instance, after the moving the all inshore installation to offshore, fish farms had the opportunity to increase their capacity for 4 times. In the beginning, their capacity 250. After the moving, minimum capacity 1,000 tons. It means 4 times increase their capacity. It's also very good for the investors and fish farmers. Component organizations also government provides support to encourage producers joining any aquaculture organizations or associations. For instance, any producers who is a member of the association can get additional 10% on the above subsidies. So thanks to this support, there is one central union and representing Turkish aquaculture producers and 22 local unions under these central unions. In addition, we have also one fish farmer association in Turkey. As a Turkey, we are also member of the FEAP. FEAP means European Aquaculture Producers Federation. So it's also quite important to integrate the European countries, European procedures, aware of the European legislations, the producers' price to discuss, and it's also quite important to represent this platform. Promotion. It's promotion always. Everything is important for every sectors. As the aquaculture, we have the very strong seafood promotion sectors, and government is giving the financial support for advertising activities in Turkey. Community has been receiving $1 million in every year from the government. They are introducing or delicious Turkish seafood by participating to national or international important trade shows, exhibitions, meetings, and also they are establishing the very important, very good business connections in these platforms, in these activities. Number of the countries reached 84 in 2019. Export value was increased 440% in the past decade, thanks to these successful and effective promotion activities. RD capability, in addition to regulation and planning, national and international projects also have been carried out and a scientific way in order to sustainability of the aquaculture sector. And we are carrying out FAO projects and EU projects and also national projects, just to realize and learn how to interaction between aquaculture and other sectors and all other issues, and then just to making the right decision, right management tools. Integration is also very important for profitability. Right, I explained you before. It's also easy to traceability issue. You can check from beginning to customers if you are the producing everything. You have all the segments in the sector as a company. Also, we can produce. Production cost is cheaper than a single company. Turkish aquaculture industry has a capacity regarding production techniques and enough financial capability. Thus, they convert crisis to opportunity by moving their inshore cages to offshore area in 2009, just after new environmental law. So they also increase the capacity of to 4 times more because carrying capacity of the open sea is very high. And other hand, Turkish companies and experts are going to other countries to establish their own farms or install turnkey farms for local investors. Finally, some of the small or medium scale companies are closed during the transformation period. But only is some bosses lost their company, not lost the worker. They lost the job because big companies bought and closed farms and they increased the capacity of these farms. So existing farmers not lost their job; they just changed the company and to process many farms, change the owners. It is a good maybe for sectors because big companies has professional management approach. They increase their production capacity and number of the employees. They can produce high quality fish for export to other countries. Of course, government also is doing their best to protect small scale family type fish farms. For instance, these small farms has some incentives. If their capacity less than 30 tons, government are not asking the environmental impact assessment reports. For instance, they are no need to ask less than 40 tons. And also, they are giving some additional subsidies for just to they are keeping the lifetime in the small scale companies. This is the successful model for blue grow aquaculture sector. Kulit Seafood Company. We are trying to they introduce and explain about the Kulit Seafood Company. This is my company. I'm working for the external consultant. This is the company overview. Kulit is leading aquaculture platform for Mediterranean species. Company has the experience more than 25 years in the Mediterranean. They are #1 position in Mediterranean species production now. They have the strong revenue generation with 55% hard currency share, distinguished capacity for both harvesting fish and juvenile secured via the existing license, creating a strong barrier for entry, multi-species cultivation We are producing many species and sea bass, sea bream, trout, beaver, bluefin tuna, and others. Capability across the value chain. Now is the company's production capacity is 51,000 tons already. Okay. We are growing sustainable way to become the leading aquaculture company. Company started to establish in 1993 for sea bass, sea bream fish farm, small fish farm, and only 3 tons in that time. But in the same time, penetrate to international markets and with harvested fish sent to Italy. In that time, we were selling the sea bass and sea bream to Italy. And then 2097, establishment of the juvenile fish production. We have the our own hatchery. 1999, we have the first offshore fish cage in Muğla in Turkey. 2000, construction of the packaging and processing facility in Milas. And this is the added value processing facility. 2002, construction of the feed production facilities. We have already 2 factory, and I mean the excluder fish feed factory. Three, establishment of the sale and distribution company, Spotor in Italy. 2004, construction of the EPS facility. 2005, construction of extruder type feed production facility. In the past, we are producing granule feed, but now after the 2005, we are producing the extruder type feed. 2006, establishment of the güvercinlik yaşar and hatcheries. We have new 2 hatcheries. 2008, institution of trout production and packaging in Maraş. We have also trout production, so we had processing and packaging facility in Maraş. 2010, certification by Global Gap, and then 2011, sub implementation. 2013, completion of the packaging and facility investment for processed products. 2018, expanding products portfolio. 2017, expanding production capacity in Turkey and in Mersin city. We have the projects, we have the new farms in Mersin. 2018, capacity expansion and establishment of the trout facility in the Black Sea region in the Giresun. So every year, as you can see, we are growing and expanding. For instance, in our president has the approach. They want to increase 10% every year. This is his goal. But luckily, we reached this goal. They are spending all the money to grow. This company is growing every year and coordinately expanding all over the world. Diversifying the portfolio across the value chain. Harvested fish, we are selling the whole fish for the Mediterranean species versus Italian, other European countries, sea bass, sea bream, sea bass, meager, and also bluefin tuna and trout. Okay, and also in the flat and the gutted fish, we are also preparing and frozen products. We are also selling and mop products and the canned products also we are producing and selling. Also, we are also selling the juveniles in Turkey and also out of Turkey. We have the special vessels for carrying the juveniles fish. We have also a fish feed factory, as I told you. We are producing feed for sea bass, sea bream, meager, trout, and other fish. Strategically dispersed facilities, minimizing the business disruption risk. We are trying to dispersed facilities for minimizing our business risks. For instance, we are producing our bluefin tuna farms in the Izmir, sea bass and sea bream and meager farms in Mediterranean and Aegean coast and Cyprus, and trout farms in the Marash and Black Sea and also Albania. We have also seafood and fish feed and fish oil factory in Mauritania. As I told you before, we have the fully integrated business models. We have our own fish feed factories, fish oil factories in Turkey and also Mauritania. We have the hatchery, many hatcheries. We have producing 469 million fingerling as a clutch. It means we are producing half of the Turkish marine fingerlings. We have the many fish farms operation in Turkey, out of Turkey also. We have the packaging processing facilities, and we have the sale and marketing channels. So it is a very profitable model, this kind of business model. I told you before, easy because the production cost is getting cheaper and cheaper compared to other single companies. If you are producing only the fish, you should pay more money for feed, more money for fingerling, more money for the packaging, processing, and selling. So it's highly cost. If you have the fully integrated business model, it is very profitable. Also, very easy to the traceability issue and checking all the steps. You can be sure your products because you know your feed quality, juvenile quality, fish quality. Easy to explain to your customer. Because of this issue, we are producing the premium quality fish as a clutch now. We are selling also the customer like our fish because they know the quality of our fish. Hatchery process. Here is the hatchery process. We are having the fish eggs, and then after 30 or 35 days in hatching, and then we are putting the larvae tanks and we are giving them in the rotifer and artemia and algae distance in 35 and 45 days. We are keeping over there, and then we are selling as a fry or fingerling or fish. Fish farming process, we are putting the juveniles to the cages. We are growing. This fish is the 2.5 and 3 months over there. I mean the pre-growing cage, these cages, and then we are moving the offshore cages, 30 and 50 grams fish. We are growing 7 to 15 months up to species. This duration is changing this species by species. For instance, in the trout is becoming in the harvested size, marketing size in the 7 days, 7 months. But in the sea bream is 12 months. Sea bass 15 months, for instance. Changing the duration species by species. Marketing size is starting 300 grams up to 1,200 grams. This is not changing the customer demand. Some customers asking the small fish, someone is medium, someone is bigger fish. For instance, US people are like the bigger fish. So we are selling around 1,000 grams and 1 sea bass and to US market, for instance. Sales and marketing team covering the diversified silent base globally. We are sale organization. We have the organization in Turkey. We have the headquarters. We are selling. We have the 3 sales distribution offices in Ankara, Antalya, and Istanbul in Turkey. In addition, we have the 3 retail retail stores in Izmir, and distribution is mainly selling to wholesalers with the direct sale to retailers and domestic juvenile sale, and are carrying by the group owned vessels. Already I told you we have the vessels to transport to juveniles. Internationally, we have the sale office in Europe and Russia, Japan, Middle East, and Africa, US, and Canada. Secure through our presence across the channels, expand the route to market strategy. Our products already selling the 60% is wholesalers, going to wholesalers, and 25% by aquaculture companies, 11% is by retailers, and around 1% we are selling in clutch markets. As you can see, we have the office in Canada, United States, Dominican Republic, Tunisia, Albania, Italy, EU countries, Russia, and Japan, and China also. We are trying to diversify silent base as an international and Turkey case. For instance, international low customer concentration is minimizing the customer dependency is changing in the up to from 34 up to 72 in gradually. In Turkey is also changing from 22% to 76%. We have the selected customers. We have the very good collaboration of other companies as a Tesca, Metro, Lorey. There are many. We are working together in Metro, Kipa, Migros, Carrefour. Also, yeah, we are working together. We are selling our products via these companies. For instance, we are selling them in the Saudi Arabia and other Muslim countries. We are using halal certificate scheme, and for Europe, generally global caps, and also BRC where we are using and ACG. Or already we have all necessary, the certification schemes regarding customer demand or international rules. In college, in fish feed plants, for instance, have global gap and halal certification schemes. Hatcheries have global gap or hatcheries. Fish farmers has global gap, BCGI, IFS, and ASJ, and processing and packaging facilities. All, of course, more than BRC and global gap, ACG. AFS and ISO certificates. RD investment and strong enabler to continued growth and profitability. As a company, we have the RD department. We are carrying out our RD studies for new markets, new species, and so it's also very good. We have also carrying the EU projects and national projects. We have the clear strategic vision focused on the top line growth and increased profitability. Recent investment in Mersin and Dominican Republic. Last years, we established in the Mersin city and Dominican Republic for the new farms. Also, we are trying to growing the existing markets, and we are trying to enter new markets as a China. This is the historically proven robust top-line growth coupled with enhancing profitability. And as you can see, screen is our profitability is increased every year. The financial performance. This is the some awards and achievements. Our company, Champagne. Fish exporter of Turkey since 2010s. Kılıç ranked among the first 500 industrial companies in 9 years in a row. $180 million of total exports in 2018. Also, Kılıç is honored with the Career Net That's human respect awards. Once again, having made itself a distinguished name with its investment and international assurance, sustainability Kılıç has exhibited that it is one step ahead within the sector with regard to not the quality of products and service, if often, but also with the value of attached to human beings. This is it continues. The International Test and Quality Institute organization decided to certifying the test of the food and drink products and to give the Kılıç, and last year's and this year's judges are selected from the 15 most prestigious European culinary and sommeliers associations. Kılıç got third and the second star for Sivas and Sibrim from the International Test Quality Station. Those two awards are qualified exceptional and remarkable. Sustainability issue. It is our mission to fulfill our responsibilities for the humanity of today and next generation to the awareness of the environmental protection and spread this mentality. We guarantee to be complete practices the environmental protection along the preventive actions against unnecessary resources. Practicing in all process, ranking from the production, the seed, fish to packaging, Kılıç has success become the world leader with the Sibrim, Sivas, and rainbow trout production capacity. We export 70% of our 65,000 tons of annual production to approximately 65 countries. So I think this is the last one. Thank you very much for listening me. If you have any question, I will be happy to answer you. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you, Dr. Deniz, for the presentation. So let's give a minute for stretching because it's a 90 minutes full. So we will have some Q&A sessions now.
Yes.
Saya persilakan teman-teman jika ada yang ingin bertanya. Tadi saya lihat Pak Julian raise hand tapi sudah hilang lagi. Atau siapa aja deh, silakan yang mau bertanya langsung unmute mikrofonnya. Silakan langsung bertanya. Saya kasih kesempatan. Jika tidak ada, saya bacakan ada pertanyaan di chat box. Oh, Pak Wayan, silakan Pak Wayan.
Hi, Dr. Hayri Deniz. I'm Wayan Suja from Indonesia. I'm interested in how's the process of establishing the regulation in Turkey between the government and the stakeholder. Is there any close communication to establish the regulation, or the government is doing it by itself? Thank you.
Actually, in Turkey, is the governmental bodies, a Ministry of Agriculture, inviting us, calling us to come together to prepare new regulation or changing and amending the regulations. We come together, we are deciding, and then we are applying. So every time we are getting the decisions with consensus all stakeholders. And in Turkey, we have the task force under the ministry. We are coming together, meeting, and we are discussing all the issues, all the problems, and solving together. So this is our success to. We are putting in force, all the regulations together. So We know what we are needed, what is the problems, what should be in the future. So we are amending, we are changing easily the regulations.
Excellent. That's, I see the same process like in Norway.
Yes, absolutely.
Monggo Pak Mudi.
Oke, terima kasih Pak Wayan. Silakan, ada yang mau bertanya lagi? Saya nggak lihat channel YouTube-nya, mungkin ada pertanyaan di sana, nggak tahu Mas Soni. I will read a written question from Pak Agung Batam. How is the business model of sea bass for fillet, particularly for export market? Do you have any comments on that, Dr. Deniz?
Yeah, you mean fillet?
Yeah. Fillet.
And we are producing any kind of, the products depending the customer demand. For instance, European and Mediterranean people like to consume and eat whole fish. We are preparing a whole fish for them. For instance, Russian people and Netherlands and German people, they like smoked or the canned fish. We are preparing canned or smoked fish for them. And we have the opportunity and flexibility. We can prepare every type of the products regarding customer demand. We have the facilities. Every big companies have their own packaging processing facilities. Even the added value processing and packaging facilities. We can prepare, we can sell, we can send everywhere any type of fish. Even especially in the sea bass, we are selling the whole sea bass to European and Mediterranean countries, Italy and Spain and Greece and others. But some European countries like German and the Netherlands, they like fillet and cut it and fillet. We are preparing and sending to them for this. Even the Russian people also like fillet and smoked fish. We are sending them fillet or smoked fish, especially smoked trout. They like the trout, smoked trout. But the sea bass and sea bream mainly is whole and fillet. We are sending. Also, we are preparing added value fish. Ready to cook, ready to eat fish. Especially ladies and women like this kind of the products because it is very easy to prepare and serve them for them.
All right, thank you, Dr. Deniz. You know the situation of COVID-19 pandemic in the world. Is there any shifting in terms of demand of fish products in Europe or elsewhere in the world?
Of course, as same as the other regions of the world. Now is our customer asking mainly in the not whole fresh fish. They are asking the canned or smoked or the prepared fish instead of the fresh fish. The consumption habits are changing. They are preferring to consume or smoked or the canned fish instead of fresh and whole fish. Of course, changing everything. We are of course is affecting negatively to our Turkish aquaculture sector. Many European countries. Now they are not asking. They are not. They don't want to eat. They don't want to consume so much fish. So it is also the negative impacts, of course.
Alright, thank you. Ada pertanyaan lain nggak? Kalau nggak ada, saya mau bertanya lagi nih. Saya nggak mau monopoli nih. Silakan kalau ada teman-teman yang mau bertanya. Apakah ada yang raise hand? Kalau tidak ada, saya yang bertanya lagi. Okay, I will ask you another question.
Please, go ahead.
What is the status of carrying capacity of marine aquaculture for Turkey? Mediterranean Sea is managed by several countries. What is the status of carrying capacity of marine aquaculture in Turkey, or as a whole, as a Mediterranean Sea?
Yeah, actually, if to be honest, there is no any country, I mean, the calculating and whole carrying capacity in the whole, I mean, Mediterranean and all the seas. Everybody is talking, I mean, carrying capacity. Everybody know, which is very important, a key issue for future of time in the aquaculture, because we don't know the how many tons, how many tons fish cannot grow over there. It is not dangerous for environment, of course. Now we couldn't success, unfortunately. Just we are estimating, but not exact number, because it's not easy. Because you should know the, I mean, the current map, current situation of all your sea for calculating the, I mean, the carrying capacity. Directly interested with, I mean, the current speed and deep and many things affecting the carrying capacity. So we are trying to, I mean, the stop by using indicators such as some seaweed. They have the sensitive species. For instance, in Turkey, we stopped to give the license and in the Muğla, Bodrum, and Izmir city, because already there is enough. There are enough capacity, full capacity. No any new license. We are calculating the, I mean, the environmental effects, because cumulative effects, I mean, the not single effects by cage. Not we are estimating whole, I mean, the ASA zones, and then we are deciding to give new license or cancel or move to this cage other area. Actually, I worked with FAO and European countries, but we never see the calculating the, I mean, the correctly and in the carrying capacity of, if to be honest. But we are trying to stop where is, I mean, the coming the dangerous to starting the polluted to environment by using the I mean, the indicators such as Posidenia seaweed. Some we are analyzing the, I mean, the deep waters and the sediments to understand what's happening on the deep and water columns, of course.
All right, thank you, Dr. Deniz. Ada pertanyaan lain dari Bapak-Bapak? Silakan, Pak Malik atau Pak siapa tadi? Pak Edison.
Halo.
Ya, silakan, Pak.
Yeah. Hello, Deniz.
Hello.
Hello. Thank you very much for your very impressive presentation. I am Alim from Gajah Mada University. I just wonder about the side effect of the intensification of marine aquaculture. Has any effect on the pollution in the ocean, in the marine environment, and how Turkey already overcome these issues? Thank you.
Yeah. Yes, good question. As I told you before in the presentation, in the first time in 1998, we established them in the fish farm, I mean the cage farm, just next to shore, because in that time there is nobody know, I mean, the environmental awareness, and there is no tourism, there is no confliction, there is no enough technology. So we established, I mean, just next to coast, and unfortunately, of course, we made a negative effect in the, if to be honest. But and then we realized we faced the conflicts with tourism sectors and urbanization and maritime. So we come together. We determined the new aquaculture, potential aquaculture area, and to move the cages to slowly. I mean, the first years just to cost to a little bit away, slowly. Now, all the operations, all the cages in the offshore. But of course, not easy task. Now we have the aquaculture regulation, we have the site selection regulation, and also fish farm monitoring regulation. So Minister of Agriculture and Minister of Environment are responsible to control and check, I mean, all the environmental issues. For instance, they are checking distance between the cage to cage, farm to farm, farm to hatchery, farm to coastline. Also, every year, 2 times, fish farmer must, I mean, have the reports, environmental impact assessment reports, what's happening in their cages, and also government checking and controlling. They are operating the right sites and the right capacity. If they are not operating the rightly, government cancel their, I mean, the license or stop license or changing their right, their size. So now nobody can pollute it because we have very strict rules. We are checking every time. Even the Minister of Environment, Minister of Agriculture. Also, we are monitoring and checking the, I mean, farm level effects and cumulative effects. We are calculating and evaluating cumulative effects of, I mean, the whole zones. So this is the issue. Of course, in the past we made a lot of mistakes, but we learned a lot of things to develop ourselves, and now we have the very good position. Not everybody is happy. There is no conflicts. There is no pollution because in the open oceans there are very good quality waters and very enough currents. So we are producing high quality fish because of this. I think it's enough.
Thank
Yes,
you.
enough. Thank you very much.
It's a pleasure for me. Thank you.
Is there any more question, or I will ask again?
Of course, you can also write me after the, I mean, this webinar. Anytime, please ask and write me if you have any questions.
I want to prioritize the participants first. Ada pertanyaan lain dari teman-teman yang hadir? Silakan. Kalau tidak ada, saya tanya lagi. I will ask again. If there is no one asking, I will ask you again. What is the most profitable species in Turkey in terms of business, and why?
Now, bluefin tuna, I can say you.
Oh,
because bluefin tuna is we are I mean, the not, you know, this is the not exact aquaculture. Maybe we can say the ranching and breeding. We are collecting the small bluefin tuna around Cyprus Island as a Turkey. We are carrying the slowly around 1 month to Izmir city. Izmir, we are putting our cages. There are 6 bluefin tuna farm over there, around 4,000 ton capacity. So we are growing. We are ranching around 6 months, or 8 months, and then we are selling directly. In Japanese vessel come and harvest, and it is very price is very good. And also, I mean, duration is very short. I mean, only 6 months or 8 months compared to others, and sea bass and sea bream, or even the trout. So now is the most profitable one is bluefin tuna for us. But of course, the space are limited. There is government are not giving the new license.
Thank you. So may I ask more? What is the size of the cage, and for 6 months growing from what size to what size?
You mean the bluefin tuna cages?
Yes, yes.
100 meters.
Okay, growing from what size to what size?
Yeah, actually, we are collecting from the nature, not, I mean, the small size, around 20 kilo minimum size. So no need to, I mean, to put pre-growing cages. We are putting directly big cages. We are not changing the cages.
Oh, so for 6 months you are growing until 20 kilo, or from 20 kilo?
No, 20 to 400 kilo.
Okay.
And, yeah.
Oke, saya bertanya, Pak.
Oke, silakan Pak Edison.
Oke. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi.
Thank you very much, Mr. Hayri, Deniz. I interested about accreditation for industry aquaculture in your country. How to procedure accreditation? How to procedure accreditation for aquaculture industry in your country? Thank you very much.
You mean licensing? You mean licensing of aquaculture?
Halo Pak Edison, sertifikasi atau perizinan?
You mean certification or licensing? I don't understand.
Ya, bagaimana prosedur akreditasinya? Maaf, jaringan kurang bagus ya. Prosedur akreditasi di sana gitu ya. Akreditasi lembaga industri.
Okay,
jaringan kurang bagus Pak, Makassar.
Ya. Oke, makasih Pak Edison. What is the process of accreditation in Turkey?
Accreditation means there is no any accreditation issue for aquaculture sector. Accreditation for laboratory and institutional governmental bodies, and especially we are using laboratory for analyzing laboratory for accreditation. But sector we have the licensing procedures, and then we have the certification schemes for the quality and food safety issues. I don't know actually what is the mean the accreditation of sector. There is no any this kind of the procedures in Turkey. The
specific accreditation. Are there specific institution of accreditation for aquaculture industry in your country?
Yeah, I mean, we have the laboratory, we have the institutes, they have the accreditation for the, I mean, the analyzing the, I mean, the water quality and the fish quality and the fish analysis to I mean, send the government, and without accreditation, government are not accept their and reports. So they have to have accreditation, I mean, to make the study for aquaculture. I mean,
thank you very much.
I hope I answered you enough. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Deniz. I think it's fine. Ada pertanyaan lain? Silakan.
Saya Pak.
Ya, silakan.
Yeah. The second question. I am Ali from Gajah Mada University. Hello, Deniz. Is any disease? What is the important disease in the Turkish marine aquaculture? And how to overcome, what is the countermeasure method to control the disease?
Actually, we are very lucky. We don't have to, we are not facing the disease problems because the water is very clean, and we are operating the open sea. There is no, I mean, the any disease issue because the water very changing very rapidly. Is very clean. There are enough current, so also we have the regulations between the fish farm to farm. Also, we are vaccinating one by one every fish just to put to cages, so to prevent any disease, any bacterial and fungal other disease, viral disease. So luckily we are not facing the disease issue actually. Because of time we are operating very high quality waters, exchange rate is very high, so there is no any risk and this kind of or offshore cages, because also there are also some stock limitation per square meters, for instance 10 kilo the maximum stock density. Also government and Ministry of Agriculture is checking for disease issue, environmental issue, everything is under the control. So we are sending or selling our fish to mainly in Europe and export market. We have to produce high quality fish and without, the disease free and fish. So we are lucky, unfortunately. Luckily, thank you so much. I hope I answered you.
So in Turkey, apply the vaccination. So could you give me a little bit information about what kind of vaccine do you use?
Actually, I am not expert on vaccination issue. I cannot give you the exact name, but I can research and send you by email. But I don't know actually the name of the vaccine because I am not expert. I am so sorry. But I can search and send you what is the name of the vaccine. I am so sorry. But I know that one by one, every fish, we are vaccinating on the barge. Also, at the same time, we are also selecting the size of fish, and we are only vaccination. We are
Xiang. Halo Xiang.
Okay, thank you very much.
Saya mau tanya Xiang, mungkin dia masih ingat tahun 2014 vaksin. Xiang, do you still remember what vaccine that you saw?
If I write, I will send you.
In Asia, so far we have the streptococcus, the vaccine for streptococcus, for the Ternassebaculum maritus, which is the they call it the marine flexibacter, or specifically for the gill or the body erosion. For the virus is an iridovirus so far, but MSD they tend to be able to produce the vaccine should be multiple function. So it was kind of the one disease by one shot, and right now it be able to give you more like a combine 2 or 3 different things that into one shot to the fish, so that you can reduce the abrasion and stress to the fish. Over. Yes, sir.
Thank you, Xiang. Is there any more questions? Ada pertanyaan lagi dari teman-teman? Silakan.
Please welcome.
Silakan, kalau malu-malu bisa tulis di chat, kalau enggak langsung bicara di unmute speakernya. Silakan.
Dari Amril Nurman, Pak Pamudi di Yumchat.
Okay. I will read the question from someone in the chat box. I know it doesn't really relate to the topic of OCIAT. What is the the status of Fanamai aquaculture in Turkey? Does it have a similar issue with the condition in Asia or Indonesia, like a lot of diseases? Do you have any? Do you have
Are
any?
you talking about the shrimp culture in Turkey?
No, we don't have, unfortunately.
Ya, makanya
We don't have the shrimp farm in Turkey.
Ya, Pak Amril, mohon maaf karena beliau bukan bergerak di bidang udang, jadi saya skip pertanyaan Pak Malik saja. I will read the question from Pak Malik from the eastern part of Indonesia.
Yeah.
In the future, is there any chance to have R&D in marine aquaculture? I mean, a collaboration from institution in Indonesia or university to a company or institution in Turkey?
Of course, already I told you yesterday, the Turkey is open to any kind of collaboration in the regional countries, even as a college and as also or association. We are ready to any kind of collaboration. We can come together. We can organize the meetings and business-to-business meeting, another seminar, or maybe technical visits. For instance, in the Sirre, we were talking about the technical visit to some Turkish representative of some big companies and from some governmental bodies to bring and visit your region to discuss and this kind of collaboration. But because of the COVID, we canceled this decision. Maybe next time in the future we can do it.
Alright, thank you Dr. Deniz. Ada pertanyaan lain dari teman-teman? Silakan, saya kasih waktu. Ada pertanyaan di YouTube nggak ya, Mas Soni?
Nggak ada, Pak Pamudi.
Nggak ada ya, oke. Saya hitung sampai 3 ya. Kalau tidak ada, nanti saya serahkan ke Mas Soni selaku panitia. 1, 2, 3. Okay. So because there are no more questions, I would like to thank Champin Lan and Dr. Deniz and also all participants for participating in this workshop. For the materials, untuk materinya nanti saya akan kasihkan ke Mas Soni ya. Silakan isi daftar hadir. Nanti saya kasihkan ke Mas Soni. Nanti Mas Soni yang akan mendistribusikan ke teman-teman yang hadir semua di workshop ini. Okay, I think that's all. I would like to give this opportunity for Mas Soni to proceed. Silakan Mas Soni.
Okay, thank you so much. I would like to remind, please write me if you have any question. I'm ready to answer you anytime. Okay, thank you so much.
And thank you for all your participation. Thank you.
Terima kasih Pak Pamudi sudah berkenan memandu dalam acara diskusi siang hari ini. Kaitannya dengan jalan success story memang harus dibawa santai gitu ya Pak Pamudi, biar ada interest begitu. Bapak Ibu yang kami hormati, nanti untuk tadi material dan sertifikat akan kami kirim via link nanti di email Bapak Ibu masing-masing. Jadi nanti pastikan email yang didaftarkan di absensi sesuai dengan yang nanti tujuan pengiriman. Saya kira itu saja. Terima kasih. Thank you Pak Pamudi and thanks more Mr. Hayri Deniz.
Thank you so much.
And see you later.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.